Hey everybody, it's Debbie, and as promised, I was just mentioning that I was going to be going live here. So tonight it's all about creating custom email templates. So let me just mute my phone here so we don't have any distractions, and we'll get going. So I'm still doing some testing with this software called Ecamm Live, and the whole idea behind it is it gives you a place to do your Facebook Lives, and it'll also stream to other platforms like YouTube and things like that. So I'm still testing it to see if I like it. The real trick will be whenever I bring in other guest speakers. And I just realized I had my mic sitting on the ground, so hopefully you can hear me. Okay, so let's just jump in here, and if you see me looking away, I'm just looking at my little agenda over here. So what's the goal or the main purpose for this today? It's all about helping you find systems, little processes to save time, to scale your business. And with email, we spend our life in email. So that's what this is all about. I am going to just show you a couple of ways that you can streamline the whole process with your email. Now tonight I'll be demoing Outlook. That's what I typically use. I know that there's a lot of people that they use Gmail and some of the others. So down the road I'll do some testing on that and share some tips with that. But for tonight it's all about Outlook and specifically using templates. So when I say a template, you might have another idea what that means, but basically it's like a pattern that you can use over and over. You might be able to use it as is, or you might need to adjust it just a little bit. So I'm going to show you an example here in a minute. I have a little template that I use, so whenever somebody wants one of the freebies that I have, if I can't post the link, if I have to email the link to them, I just have a little email template, and literally it just takes 2 or 3 quick little keystrokes. I add their first name and boom, I send it off, and it's all from using that template. So I'm going to demonstrate that with you, and hopefully you'll see how much time you can save, because that's what it's all about. Create a system, start seeing those time benefits of saving by using that, and you're building a consistency in your business. So things look the same, maybe you respond the same way, you handle things the same way. So it's all about creating those systems. And then if we have time, I'll spend a few minutes just talking about email signatures. And again, I'll show you a couple of examples and when you might want to use an email system or an email signature, how you could use it for maybe frequently asked questions or certain requests or topics that come up. So those are the 2 main things that I'm going to cover tonight. All right, so let's get going. And again, the key is if I can share my screen. Okay, so here it is, and let's see here. I think I can. Hopefully, you're seeing everything still full screen. So what I'm going to demo here is creating an email using a template. So let's say somebody has contacted me and they want my little freebie. If I click on my new email here, this is just the blank email. Now I'm going to come back to this in a few minutes, but down here all of this is built into my signature, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But now in the past, I would, of course, have to put the email and the subject, and then I would have to type, oh, thanks for reaching out. By the way, here's the link. If you have questions, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I'm just going to close this out. And now instead of just clicking a new email here, I'm going to go up to File, click New, and this time, if I come down here, notice I have an option called Email from Template. So I'm going to click on that. And I only have one template here to demonstrate it. But if you just follow the prompts with Outlook, it'll save all your templates under the same folder. So you don't have to hunt and peck to try to find them. So if I just, you could just double click on this, it will open up that email using that template. So now let's take a look at what I had put into that template. It builds in the subject line already, so people that were asking for my social media planning guide, the subject's already there. And then my initial line here, as requested, blah, blah, blah. Now, if I wanted to take just a quick second and, backspace and just say, hey, Pat, as requested, so then I could personalize it a little bit. That's all I have to do other than click here. And I'll send it to my little personal email here. I'm done. Click send, and boom, that easy. So literally you're taking, and maybe that little email would only take you 5 minutes, but now we've reduced it down to literally less than a minute. It took me longer than that because I was actually just talking and explaining it to you. And again, once you have that system down, click, click, click. If you're going to change the, add the person's name or whatever, you're streamlining that whole process. You never have to worry about fat fingering, let's say, finding that link that you were sending them and all of that kind of stuff. You were good to go. Okay, so how easy is that? Now, let's say that you want to create a new email template. So if you just click on new email, and I'm just going to say join my Facebook group. And if I had some verbiage here, hey, I just wanted to let you know something that's going on, blah, blah, blah. And you could just set it, put everything in there that you want. Okay. And then what we're going to do is if we come up to file, notice we have a save as, but also a save as template. So we're going to click on save as template. And again, we just follow the prompts and excuse me, it's just saving it based on that subject line. And in this instance, that's fine for a title. And I'm just going to say save it. And now at this point, I'm just going to X out of this. And again, somebody reaches out to me, they want more details about my Facebook group or maybe my online course, something like that. Instead of typing it, even if you're cutting and pasting, if you're using a template, it's just super easy. So again, if we come up to new, and then we're going to create a new email from a template. And now see, I have 2 templates in there. So if I just double click this one I just created, join my Facebook group. And here's all of that. And again, all I would need to do is put the email there. And maybe I wanted to personalize for each email that I sent out. So I could just type a quick little paragraph. Everything else is in place. Click send. And I'm off and running. So how easy is that? Do you see the benefit of creating these templates? And again, a template is kind of just a pattern. It allows you to just plug in whatever the little variables in, and boom, you're off and running. So I highly recommend creating different email templates. Just think about the types of questions or requests, or you could even use it for maybe onboarding, things like that, where maybe the first paragraph is personalized and then after that it's all standard text. So you might use something like that. Of course, there's email funnel systems and all of that kind of stuff, but these email templates here is geared for when you're individually needing to respond back to someone, and usually the answers are kind of the same. You just need to tweak it a little bit. So instead of taking all that time, you could just use this template. So that was one thing excuse me, that I was going to share with you. So let me just X out of this. And then the second thing that I was going to talk about is email signatures. So again, I'm just going to open up a blank email. And you'll notice this is probably too much text. I probably should condense it just a little bit. But every email that I send out, I have some pre-stamped stuff in there. Now, some people like to use an actual little logo or a picture. There's pros and cons about that. The tech industry, it's kind of divided half and half. That if you're using an actual footer or header where you've got that pretty little picture, maybe you have a picture of yourself or you have a banner image, that if you use that in your email, sometimes email handlers will kind of mark that as a spam. Not all the time, and of course once people have kind of trained their system to accept your emails, you wouldn't have that problem. So that's why I just use text. I do have some links in my text, but I don't have the little pretty banner and stuff. So let's just take a quick look here at what I have in my signature. And first of all, let me just mention, why should you use like a signature line in your email? Well, the first thing is it's like free advertisement, right? So, even if you send something to your aunt or your neighbor or your friend, or if it's an email that you figure maybe will get passed on to other people, you never know who's going to see that email. So why not take advantage of that free real estate and at least put your title or your business name or how you can help other people. So it's basically free advertisement. So take advantage of it. And then, excuse me. Then also, if you look at mine, you can put like a title or a tagline or just kind of a little description of how some of your services or how you can help people. And then I just have a kind of highlighting some of the pain points, I guess, if you want to say. Do you want to gain more time back in your business? Do you want to create a streamlined business that's easy to scale and get back to being the CEO of your business? I can help. If you want to create that scalable and sustainable business, click here for a free assessment. And then, of course, if you hover over it, just popped up a second ago. Let's see if I can get it to come up again. If you hover over it, though, it does have a link. There it is. So it will take them straight to my booking calendar where they can book a free assessment. And hey, just a heads up, if any of you would like to jump on the phone with me for 30 minutes, I just kind of dig into your business systems a little bit and see if there's anything we could do to kind of tighten it up. So again, in my signature here, I have a call to action. Book here, click here for a free assessment call. And then I actually have a couple more links down here. Now, I will say that in the marketing world, again, it's a lot of the experts say that you should only give people one call to action, that basically that's all our minds can focus on. And so we just need to pick one call to action. So technically, this signature is a little bit too much. I probably should scale it back a little bit. But I just thought, well, why not? Sometimes if people are just interested, maybe they'll click all of them. So a little online course that I have, which I'm actually updating, link to my Facebook, my webpage, and then my LinkedIn. So again, just and nowadays I think if people see the word Facebook, LinkedIn, or the website, they get what it is. If they're interested, they could click there further. So this is just my standard, what I call my standard signature. I don't have to think about it. Every time I create a new email, this pops up and it's there. But what a lot of people don't realize is you can create unlimited signatures and then use those signatures based on what it is you're trying to accomplish. Now, Michael Hyatt, he's a great productivity coach, time management type coach. And I actually got this idea from him. I thought it was brilliant. He has several signatures, and basically he gets so many emails, again, where it's kind of like frequently asked questions. Hey, do you know how I could do XYZ? Or, oh, I'm interested in ABC. Could you help? And, so he has a whole list of them. So what he does, he might just type one or two sentences, thank you, Debbie, for reaching out to me. You mentioned you want more information on XYZ. The rest of it is an actual signature. He doesn't have to think about it. It answers that question. It might direct them. So if somebody is requesting help that he can't give them or whatever, it might direct them to some other things. But it is a huge time saver because, one, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to hunt and peck, look into different files and where's the link to Betty's marketing course? And, I know I had something here and so forth. It's all just there. So I'm going to show you in a minute how you can create those different signature files. And, the FAQ or frequently asked question file. And so, another thing for you to do as you're starting to develop these systems is just keep a little notebook or an Excel file or something and just kind of start capturing. If you do something more than once, my motto is one and done. So what I mean by that is if you get asked a question more than once, or if you have to give directions more than once, or if somebody wants to know how to log back into your course, if they forgot that, whatever it is, if you find yourself answering or giving information, basically kind of the same thing over and over, then that kind of falls into that frequently asked questions. So when these things come into your email or you have to respond to one of these requests, then you could just create a signature for it. So let's say, let me just get rid of all of this here, and let's say somebody, they forgot their login or something, or resetting their password. And then, I would just have the steps here. And again, another great idea is to capture all of this information. In addition to putting it in your signature file, again, keep it in just a real long Word document, or keep it in an Excel or a Google Sheets, so that it's always there. And then if you need to tweak it just a little bit, you can just grab it and tweak it. So let's say I'm always getting requests on, I don't know how to reset my password. And again, once you get into bigger systems, there's all kinds of automations that you can set up. I'm just using this as an example of a way of how you can use signatures, not only to advertise your business or a current promotion that you have going on, but you can also use it to answer those commonly asked questions, or kind of spell out the directions for something. So anyway, in this example, resetting your password, what else might they, finding your login. anyway, you get the idea. And what's nice is, I mean, you can make these as pretty as you want, so you can add some formatting to it. You can, you know, resize it, anything you want here, okay? So you get the idea. So you've added all of that information. Let me just click up here. And you could even go as far as, probably don't want it in bold or in 14. You could even do something like this. And you could color code it to direct you so that you know what to change here. And then again, it just simplifies the whole process. And now what you want to do is, now that you have everything in this email, and the idea is, you know, you still want to be personable. So it's mainly just kind of filling in those main chunks. And then, you know, right here, you might want to just type a quick little note or paragraph, or maybe at the end. But the rest of the stuff is the same information that you're sharing over and over again. So we've created all of that. And now we're still in our messaging tab here. We're still in that creating a new message. If we just come over here and click signature, and we can actually, I'm just going to do a quick copy because I might have jumped the gun here. I'm just going to copy that. But we come to signature and we can edit signatures. And right now I have 2 signatures here. I'm going to click on this plus. And now I'm just going to delete that. Now I'm just going to paste in what I had just created. Okay, and then I should have, let me move this to the side just a little bit. I should have grabbed everything here. Let's see if I can do that without losing the screen. Okay. And somebody just asked, does this work with Google Mail? Now, each email system has their own bells and whistles. I think Google Mail does have a couple of options, not as robust as Outlook. And I will in the future do some quick little training on Google Mail. And then I'll also do some training for you on how to migrate in case you decide that you really want to go with something more robust here. Okay. So now let me get back here, and I'm just gonna, so now do you see here, here's all this information that, you know, I have to repeat over and over again. And now all I need to do up here, see where it says signature name? Right now it's untitled. So let me say resetting your password instructions. Oops, if I could type. All right. And that's it. So now I've created that signature. I just have to come up here to the little save button and save it. And then I'm going to X out. And now I'm just going to close this message here. I'm going to just discard it. And now if we look here, this little window is still open, and I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. Now notice I have 3 signatures. So I'm just going to close this, and I'm going to create a new email. And again, my standard signature is all of this, but I know that somebody needs to, you know, they said, hey, Debbie, how do I reset my password? So, and the signature in Outlook works both on creating new email messages, and also if you're replying to an email, you can go up and grab the different signature templates. So I'm going to click on signature, and I'm going to click resetting your password instructions. And here it is. And again, I could just, if I was going to, you know, get that precise here, I could just say, you know, thanks Betty. The only bad thing about doing it in color is then you have to change it. You'd have to change it back to black. But if you were, like if you had a team and you were training them on how you wanted to respond back, it would be a good training thing. Me personally, I probably wouldn't have two little spots. I'll tell you why. It's quicker for me just to type "Thanks, Betty, for your recent email" instead of clicking here and then clicking over here. I'm kind of a keystroke ninja, and literally I could type it much faster than jumping from one to the other. But anyway, that's beside the point. So that's how you use signatures. And with Outlook, I don't know what the limit is. I mean, I think it's pretty robust. So, you know, you could certainly create a lot of different signatures based on what types of questions that you're answering or information that you need to get out for people. So I'm going to click up here on the signature again. And again, it just shows us the list here. So if I say, oh, I didn't mean the password instructions, I meant the FAQ for the 10-day challenge. And so boom, you just click it and it changes over to that. So your signature can certainly be more than 1 or 2 lines. I mean, it could be a whole page of information. So I'm just going to click on signature and go back to edit signatures. Now, sometimes you might need to change something in your signature. So like I mentioned, my current signature preview, you know, maybe it's a little too long and I want to get rid of some of that. Then I could just come in here and I could make the changes and then just save it and I'm good to go. Okay, so on my standard, click edit. And again, I would just make whatever changes that I wanted. I could even, the default is always standard. Okay, so if I had, if I wanted something completely different to show up automatically, and then I just choose from the pick list, then I would rename this maybe to Star Consulting or something. Okay, and then always click the save button to make sure that you've saved your options. And again, I mean, you could add images, excuse me, you could add links, you know, you could pretty it up with all of your different fonts and colors, all that kind of stuff. All right, so I'll close out of that. And again, here, if I wanted to get rid of a signature, I could just highlight that and I could just do the minus, and then it would just delete it. All right, and then down here you can also have 2 separate types of signatures that automatically come up. So notice here, all my new messages always use my standard signature, which is the one that talks about Debbie Star Dybovic, I'm a system strategist, and so forth. And my replies or forwards are also the same. But if I wanted, I could have a different signature. You know, maybe I don't know, feel like that they've seen this, and so as I'm going to reply back, I'm going to give them yet a different call to action. So that might be one way you could use that. So anyway, they're just all there waiting for you. And every time, I'm going to get rid of this one. And every time you click new to create, again, if this isn't the signature I want, I can just come up here and pick whichever one I want. So as a wrap up for tonight, again, going back to our original goal, the goal is, what can you do to streamline your business, to make it more efficient, and to make it more consistent, and to eliminate spending time looking for stuff, or, you know, mistyping. You know, you want to send somebody a link to something and you mistype that web link or whatever it is. When you create a system, and a system, the difference of a system and a habit, a system means that you are planning in advance. You're making those decisions in advance of how you're going to handle something. You create this nice little system so that things just flow. So we did two things with our email, again, using Outlook. The first thing that we did, I demonstrated how you can use a template. And so a template kind of spells out the whole thing for you. And literally all you have to do is just address it and send it. You don't even have to put their first name in the email if you don't want. So it's an excellent thing and literally takes you 2 seconds and you've got that going out the door. A good example again that I showed you, people that reach out individually and I want to send them a link to one of my freebies. I just get their email, plug it in, boom, send it off, and I'm good to go. So that's one way that we streamlined by using those templates. And then the second thing that I demonstrated to you was using signatures. And a signature can be anything that you want. You can have multiple signatures. So let's say you're running a challenge for the rest of the month. You could spend or you could utilize this last part of your email and a big call to action about your challenge that you're running. So that's one thing you could do. You could use your signature file, so to speak, to answer certain types of questions. So kind of an FAQ, if you get certain questions, how do I reset my password? How do I log into the course? When's the next session of XYZ? Whatever the question is, you could create a signature for that. And then you just come up here, click the signature, pick which one you want. And then for those using your signatures, of course, you're putting some information in, but again, you're reducing the amount of time that you're investing in writing that email. So my challenge to you is just take, decide where you're going to record this information, a notebook, a spreadsheet, a Word document, and start just keeping track. You know what? I just answered that question 2 days ago. Somebody else was asking me, what's the link to get on to such and such? Just start capturing those and then see if within your email, could you create a template for that or could you create a signature for that to streamline the process. So I hope that this was useful. Let me just double check to see if there's any other questions. And again, in the future, Gmail's not my preferred email system to use. I love Outlook, but I will come up with a few training tips similar to what we did here for my Gmail users. And I'll also have some training so that if you wanted to explore the option of using Outlook, Outlook is a very robust application, and if you spend any time at all in email, then you might want to think about that. And especially as your business grows, I mean, you certainly don't need it right out of the gate, but it just gives you a little more professional edge, I guess. And there's just tons of systems and automation tools that you could build in with that. All right, so that's it. So thank you again. I'm so happy that everybody jumped on here with me. And again, if you have questions, comments, please post them in the Facebook group, and I'll see you next time.